Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 in this best of 3 showdown between LGD CDEC taking on LGD taking on Team CDEC. I said LGD CDEC for some reason. With that said, I've got a co-caster for game number 2. I'm not alone here. I'm LD of Beyond the Summit. You are watching the Summit 3, brought to you by Gigabyte G1 Gaming, and joining me, I believe, will be Blaze. Blaze, you with me?
Yeah, how's it going, man?
We have a Blaze here. Do I
I
have
hope
you
so.
unmuted? I do have you unmuted. And I have the wrong speaker device chosen on my computer. Okay. Blaze, you there?
I believe so.
Okay. I hear you now.
Alrighty, so yeah, game two on our hands. Obviously, game one was just a quick snowball to victory for LGD. There it went pretty bad with a couple of Roche engages, and that just the high ground defense was really questionable. But these CDEC is now drafting heroes that they can kind of turtle up with a little bit. Batrider with the potential to just go for quick picks when a carry is isolated, and otherwise holding the high ground in the Roche pit really well on the Dire side. But Ancient Apparition, he's going to have to kind of build some time for himself, and they're going to really try to approach a later mid game stage unless they draft more aggressively for their next three picks. In the meantime, LGD kind of just going with something that's pretty tried and true, the Venge and Shadow Fiend. The only question is how the Brewmaster is going to be run. Is it going to be like the off lane that seems to be a lot weaker since the hero got nerfed, or are we actually going to be seeing a safe lane carry Brewmaster?
Yeah, the Brewmaster has not been a particularly popular hero in this patch. And in fact, I feel like he's one of the heroes that's fallen off the most in popularity. We're seeing a lot of cores that deal with them pretty well. The Juggernaut, who's got the Blade Fury, who can a lot of physical damage carries still, who can just man fight the Brew. We've got Axe has been a pretty common like tanky initiator type. We see a lot of the Yule Scepter pickups, which somewhat deal with him, but this hero just feels like he's not as popular as he once was. But they do have an excellent potential Brewmaster player on their team. I was gonna say it maybe, but it looks like he will probably be on the Shadow Fiend here, and then I guess it's the offlane Brew more likely for Yao.
Yeah, it's dangerous to pick that up before you know what supports you're going to be up against fully, though. I mean, the Ancient Apparition isn't too scary, but obviously we saw what Ruby could do with Quick Initiation last time, and you get one core with a Disable, and I think Brewmaster is going to be losing a couple of lives down there, unless you get something that can help block it off. Like if you had an Earthshaker to back it up, and you could kind of Fisher block the lane back, he should feel kind of safe, but I really feel like they might have to break it down to dual lanes, because it's going to be really rough on the Brewmaster if he's just 100% the suicide laner here. But yeah, CDEC still have a pretty open draft for themselves. Obviously, they've got some good ability to steal a few of Brewmaster's abilities, maybe some of Lena's. But yeah, they're really going to have to emphasize getting this Slark farm. And if the Brewmaster is there in that top lane, then maybe he'll just be getting some easy pounce kills. We'll have to see.
All right, the Slark Batrider Ancient Apparition. So very pick-off oriented draft. Not much in the way of team fight here. You know, CDEC looking to fence around LGD, find these little snipes around the map, whereas LGD could really very well be more that five-man draft. The Shadow Fiend mech, we saw that come out last game. Could be a choice here again with the Brew. The Lycan does get banned though in phase 2 by CDEC, and now as we move into phase 3, we'll see what they're going to ban here. We see some of the core Lina. In fact, we see a lot of it in the Western scene. Not very much support Lina there, but not 100% sold on whether LGD actually wants to run a core Lina. It normally goes mid, and you've already got two heroes vying for that role with the Shadow Fiend
Sure.
Brew, so...
The way I look at it, it's kind of the same structure that they had in game one. The Leshrac was essentially what the Lina is doing now, just that follow-up stun. You don't have the ability to pull them back with telekinesis, which is a nice factor of it, because obviously we saw last game you can pull them closer to a Requiem. You can just get that instant lockdown. Venge has a bit of projectile time there, but what she's lacking in that capacity, she's amplifying the Shadow Fiend's physical damage. So overall, I still think you're probably going to be seeing just MMY picking up the Venge and Zhao 8 picking up the Lina, and still kind of going with the same follow through. Less push oriented, more team fight oriented. And I mean, Lina with just her basic experience progression is still going to be able to pack a punch.
All right. Well, Spirit Breaker going to get banned out here by CDEC. A good initiator, just kind of a hero that can move around the map and set up kills for them. Doesn't feel like he's got any huge synergy with the draft though. Like you charge and then what? There's no like Storm to follow up, no Zeus. There's not they're not really particularly mobile around this. He also doesn't really counter anyone on CDEC's team per se. There's no like man fighting carry that you really need that BKB breaking lockdown for. Sure, there's the Slark, but he's got ways to deal with the Spirit Breakers. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was really the go-to ban, but at the same time, it may be something that they've seen LGD run and they're just not comfortable facing.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of potential. Just the enigmatic aspect of control, how he controls the lanes. Like he could just kind of sit there, leech experience, get a fast 6, or he could be roaming very frequently and comboing up stuns with the Venge, getting the fed Shadow Fiend, that kind of thing. So it might actually tell us a little bit more about how the mid matchup's going to play out. If they feel like they're a little bit weaker on the mid lane, then they don't want to have to deal with both Spear Breaker and Shadow Fiend. Getting aggressive in that. Obviously, the Venge is going to be smoking that direction, and we are going to be seeing more stuns on the side of LGD. They're going to go with the Slardar here, and that should be your safe laner. So presumably, mid Shadow Fiend, off lane Brew. It is going to be that support Lina in the hands of Zhao 8 most likely. And yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot of early Blink Daggers coming up from the Brewmaster as well as the Slardar.
Oh yeah, this is the alliance strat. The Slardar plus any right clicker. We've seen them doing it a lot with the sniper for Pycat, a little bit with the Shadow Fiend, and some troll. I think once. Although I don't think they really run the Slardar and troll together so much. Actually, it's normally just a standalone troll. But yeah, this is a lot of minus armor, a lot of physical damage. They still have good magic damage thanks to the Shadow Fiend, though. Very well-rounded draft overall for LGD. I feel like this solidifies them a lot, and it also means the Brew is not really being asked to do as much. The game isn't really about Brew getting level 6 and like winning big team fights. He's just a piece of the greater puzzle. They can definitely take this late. And a Sylar Slardar, I can't even remember the last time I've seen this guy play the hero.
Yeah, to be honest, I can't recall either. I'm looking over his tier list, and it's been quite some time since we've seen him on it, if at all. And yeah, 16 days ago he played his third official game on Slardar, and he's actually only 1-2 with it. So not the best record, but in this draft, I think it really just synergizes. They're able to keep that chain stun going, so even the Ember Spirit can't feel safe this time around. He's not too reliant on raw HP as long as he doesn't go for like something crazy like a Mask of Madness. He should be okay with getting hit by an Ice Blast. And does have some ground target disabled that they were lacking. So now they have Light Strike Array, the Clap, and the Crush to go up against Slark if he's in his Shadow Dance with Dark Pact unavailable.
And they just have so much burst. Like if he ever pops his little fishy head up above water, he's going to be met by some clobber in time. I mean, they got some crazy physical damage, some good nuke damage as well from the Shadow Fiend and the Lina. So I feel like it's a tough game for the Slark in the larger skirmishes, and that's where CDEC very much just looking to find their pickoffs here. That seems to be the way the draft is built. But we're going to have an early movement by XZ. He'll be scouted out here by Xiaowei. He says, "Get the hell out of my jungle. What do you think you're doing? You ain't planting no wards. Get back to the tower." Yeah, that's right. Okay, so no wards planted yet. But we'll introduce the teams here, Blaze. I'll do CDEC. You can have the honors of LGD. We've got XZ playing the Bat Rider. It will be Garter playing the support Rubik. Q on the Ancient Apparition. Shiki going to be taking the Ember Spirit mid, and Aggressive, known for his Juggernaut, but this time around he will be the man handling the Slark.
And looking over at the side of LGD, we've got them pretty much all grouped up here. Zhao 8's actually kind of switching roles a little bit with MMY, picking up the Vengeful Spirit, the Initiator. MMY is going to be following through with the Lina. Maybe he's on your Shadow Fiend. Looks to be taking it to the mid lane with those pooled tangos. So Sylar is going to be your safe lane Slardar, and that leaves your Brewmaster the off lane. Yao with boots first on the Brewmaster. How do you think he's going to fare in this lane?
Oh, sorry about that, guys. Had to get our Dota 2 audio working. Let's see. Boots first Brew. What's he up against here? Ancient Apparition, Slark, with the Rubik. If they're tri-laning that, I mean, it's not a very easy lane for Brew. I think he'll struggle there, but well, looks like they actually have plans elsewhere, Blaze. They want to go on mid here. Early smoke comes out. Not something LGD know about, though they may get suspicious when they don't see any supports harassing up top. But they are going to get the jump here on maybe. The lift, they got him. Pulling in with the chains. They can go for some auto text. Chilling touch. Good damage. They get the kill, and it goes first to Garter. Nice start here for CDEC.
Yeah, very nice for the Rubik. I mean, he was allowed to go boots first in the first place. This boots, tango, clarity opener is usually reserved for kind of those harder 4-position heroes, but him getting that kind of greed going for him while the Ancient Apparition buys all the wards and couriers and such. And then, of course, him getting the first blood. Like, Garter is going to be rolling in cash very early on. They do have one of their pull camps available, but this isn't the Radiant side. They can't utilize the other camps. They have to deal with the fact that this one has been blocked off. But even still, if Yao plays it safe, he should only die once or twice before coming out to level 6. And obviously the bottom lane is pretty much guaranteed the way of LGD. It looks like XZ isn't even going to try for it.
Well, for now, looking at the mid lane, it's a Shadow Fiend versus Ember Spirit, but it's a slightly disadvantaged matchup just since he gives up the first blood. Fortunately, Shiki not the one to get it. Normally, we see the Shadow Fiend do pretty well in this matchup, just because he's ranged, he can instantly remove the Flame Guard very easily with these raises. They're low mana cost and very spammable. And so Flame Guard becomes pretty much worthless against Shadow Fiend in the laning stage, I would say. At least as an offensive tool, or a defensive tool. Maybe offensively, if you get the supports coming in, you can use it to some success. But in general, this is a lane that goes well for your Shadow Fiend, if he's left alone. And so far, maybe, he's doing okay here. He's caught up a little bit, 7 and 4. Is getting his last hits plays. He's already got 11 souls. Goes for the boots first, over the bottle. Just really wants that extra bit of move speed in case he gets ganked again to hopefully walk himself away towards freedom. We can see as soon as that Ember gets left alone, the struggle begins. He's going to have a harder and harder time as this lane continues.
Yeah. It's also true that raise damage isn't as palpable up against the Ember Spirit with that Flame Guard, so he's not going to be spamming raises for damage so much as just using it for the occasional CS.
Yeah.
Brewmaster going for aggressive stance. He goes for the Tranquil Boots, so he's going to be able to kind of at least stay a little bit forward here. Like, as far as closing distance, early levels of telekinesis is pretty weak for cast range, and the pounce is not something you want to lead with, generally speaking. So yeah, with Tranquils and just his natural armor and evasion, he's actually going to be pretty hard to bring down, even if they do catch him halfway between the tier 1 towers. But
yeah, that's true. A lot of their damage is this chilling touch, but you don't get the chilling touch damage unless you hit your attack, so it's going to be a little more difficult for them to get that kill.
Yeah, even just Drunken Haze on one of the 3 should be enough to get him out in some tough spots, but it's actually going to be another smoke mid.
Oh, man. And this hate on Maybe. He seems to be a little suspicious, though. And guess who's also coming mid? It's LGD. This could go real south for CDEC. It's going to be a 3-on-2 potentially mid, maybe even just a 3-on-1. If this Rubik backs off Garter, he's getting ready for the 4-minute rune. That's the time where LGD make their move towards top. They only show Maybe. This might be something CDEC think they've got a freebie for. They go for the cliff on Yao. They get it. But it might cost them Shiki. That's the bigger overall objective for LGD. Take down that Ember. It is now 3 minutes. He buys a TP scroll, and it's an upgraded courier coming right out to deliver it. So not really much lost here for the Brew, just the TP scroll gold, but I think overall LGD going to be very happy collecting that kill mid, and with that, your Shadow Fiend going to have 22 souls. He's in good shape now.
Oh yeah, really good shape. Getting just one of those kills will allow you to do that, but either way, he's getting a lot of CS now, 14 and 10. And yeah, we'll be able to control the lane pretty well physically. That's the important thing, is Ember has only 2 armor and a stout shield to deal with these right clicks that are nearing 100 plus damage. So yeah, maybe he's being able to execute this pretty well. And I expect that he's going to be able to stay in the lane for a while. Rubik is probably not going to waste another smoke. Those are going to become precious resources pretty soon. But Rubik is very active in the jungle at the very least. The Bat Rider, who knows there's really nothing for him in the bottom lane, will at least have all these stacks to fall back on.
Yeah, quad stack in one area. You've got the golems, but a double stack in the other. Looks like there was a stack here over near the top rune camp, and it was farmed up. So has mainly just the one big camp to go back to, but this will be enough to get Xe. It's a starter kit, basically. With this, he'll get into the 4-digit gold realm and should be well on his way to the Blink Dagger. It's not going to be the fastest blink ever, it looks like, but still a reasonable time. And well, I wasn't really expecting this, Blaze. We don't normally see this item on Slardar as a first pickup, but Sylar goes for the early Midas grab here. And with that, he'll be looking to match the... Well, actually, Slark not going Midas. That feels very interesting. You've got the Midas the Midas Slardar, but no Midas Slark. So I guess our Slardar may be looking to pull ahead here early.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of potential there. It's kind of a why not Midas. Like in this situation, you're just getting complete free farm. You're having absolutely no contest, and there's no impetus for you to start TPing and blinking and killing. I mean, there is definitely the potential if you really want to ramp up your momentum, but as it is, they can wait for like MMY to get level 6, and around that timing, they're going to have the most gank potential. So wait on the blink for a little bit here, and that's going to allow you to get your next item even faster. It's just going to overall be pretty nice. But one thing that I'm kind of surprised about is how much they're leaving the Ancient Apparition out to dry on the side of CDEC. They wait for Boots first on the Rubik. He's been involved in the ganks. In Ancient Apparition, he's barely gotten his level 3. Like, he is just so poor. They could have given the experience from the Batrider stacks, something to get him moving, because right now, he's a long way away from his ultimate. He's nowhere near the general progression of, like, that Midas, Aghanim Scepter, and he'll be just happy to, like, Boots and earn a Shadows.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, we're going to see CDEC now just continue to farm their woods. Both teams really playing that economy game right now with the Midas on the Slardar. Sure, Slark's not going Midas, but his team is definitely taking advantage of this jungle. Everyone looking to farm up, get their key levels as be the mad dash towards 6 and towards some core items here. The Blink Dagger for XZ, still a ways off here, but he's got a nice, fresh triple stack to farm, and to go with that, he's going to try to clean up this other Centaur. It's level 6 already, still a ways off the Blink Dagger, but with these camps going down, we'll get close. Meanwhile, top lane, aggressive. Little does he know how close he could have been to dying there. They've got Xiao 8 in position.
Oh.
Why waiting? And he will jump forward, but they can't quite close the distance. They don't really have the best long-range initiation here. He will be able to just walk away.
Yeah. And that's a weakness they're going to be suffering against CDEC for a while here. Once Slaughter gets involved, maybe with a Blink Dagger, then they'll be better off in that department. But still, you have to be worried about what the Batrider can do that your team cannot. You don't have your Axe initiation, your Clockwork initiation. This Brewmaster is going to be a long way off from being really the guy that starts things off. He's much more responsive right now. But either way, the supports, Zhao Wei going to cover the double damage rune. The Lina going to be taking some experience mid. Again, the early Laguna Blade, just 1 point is going to be really important for their team fight overall. So we'll hope that they at least can respond to the fights pretty soon. TP Scroll is on the Venge at the very least if there's trouble down bottom.
Speaking of which, there might be, but Sylar is really hugging the tower here. They're going to show Shiki in the lane. They already showed their Ancient Apparition here, so much for that jump. Just couldn't find the opening. Sylar played it nice and safe. They actually did not even... I don't think they actually saw him pop the invis or anything like that, but I believe they knew it was bottled from earlier as he had shown it in his bottle. And
then when the Ancient Apparition is cowering like that, you know that he's got something up his sleeve. But
LGD, big wrap around mid lane. Want to go on Garter here. Ray's coming out and gets up the lift, but that's it. Now Aggressive going to join that, but unable to get a whole lot done. They do have their Brewmaster split online. And you know what I'm actually wondering here, Blaze, do you think we're going to see that mech build again for maybe? Especially with the Slardar Midas. It seems like he really likes the mech a lot over the Yules, and I think I have seen him go Yules before, but he seems to prefer the mech certainly more than your Western players do.
I think MMY is going to go Yule Scepter for him. That's what he did on the Leshrac, so I could see that being kind of the combo there, and maybe he doesn't even need to pick it up. And then, yeah, a well-timed mechanism is fine even against an Ancient Apparition. I think they can still push pretty well off of that. And, I mean, what's going to stop them from taking objectives? Towers and Roshan are going to go down so quick in the hands of LGD's lineup. So, yeah, the 5v5 emphasis of the mechanism seems to suit their style pretty well.
Yeah, that 5v5 could actually come soon. Despite going Midas first, Sylar up to 1,900 gold. He may just be going straight into a Blink Dagger here. He'll be a bit squishy, but he also has that very high-octane offense available now. Has the level 8. And Slardar is a pretty level-dependent hero, I would say. Maxing out the bash is not hugely important, but you really want to level up your amplify damage, and that is where the Midas can come in handy, aside from the gold benefits it brings to the table. Here comes the smoke. XC going to be revealed. He's got his Blink Dagger. The Wrangle Xiao 8 pulls him right into a Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains, and, well, there was events there. Not any longer. Not the biggest losses. Aggressive does move his way in top a little bit. He got coming on the courier here. It's going to be a drum, so no Shadow Blade Rush. We don't really see the Blink build too much anymore. But no Midas either. That is the big thing, I think. Most Slarks tend to favor a Midas pickup, and he is not going for one. It's gonna hamper any late game potential this team has a little bit, but seems they want to have a very strong and aggressive mid game coming out for CDEC.
Definitely, and it also shows that he wants to collaborate with his allies quite a bit here, because I mean, you could just go the Yasha and still get most of the value that the drum's going to give you and build that into SNY later, but he wants the movement speed for his team as much as himself, and that allows the Ember Spear to get in the Bat Rider to get a better lasso pullout. So yeah, I could definitely see some potentially valuable utility. And a lot of spell spam coming from him, maybe Shadowblade next. But we're going to see the double smoke, MMY LGD looking for an opening, and it looks like Ember Spirit is going to provide it to him. No Remnants out right now.
That's the Remnant. LGD unable to close the gap in time. It is going to be Yules for maybe. Okay, gets the Staff of Wizardry here. So, no early mech. Good playmaking item, though. Not so much necessarily against your Ember Spirit, but could definitely set up some kills here on the Rubik, the Slark potentially, if he doesn't, if he's not able to just leap or Dark Pact away at the right moment, and of course the Bat Rider initiation. He tries to blink, you just quickly Yules yourself for him, and then you may be able to turn that fight. His mid lane, Sylar unveils his blink dart, gets off the crush initially, but Ember gonna remnant himself towards safety, and it'll be Sylar who ends up going down first and foremost. MMY barely able to skate away, and well, they were not ready for that. Looked like it would be an easy blink reveal for a kill, but not the case, Blaze.
No, yeah, and the other way around it seems. But we're going to see Brewmaster get caught by the Pounce, but still try to turn it under Grassif. He's going to be able to just pop his first drum charge and head on out of there. But I think the big thing there was the ward on the high ground. They just recently placed a Radiant Ward. They felt safe in that mid lane because of it, and then they just smoke right over it. It's a false sense of security. But we do have the Ember Spirit caught out, looking for the ultimate timing. With that Tornado, it's really difficult because of the long duration. The pursuit will probably fall apart here as they just don't have the gap closers that they need, at least not yet.
Oh, they might even get Yao. They debuff him, but they don't get the damage. It's aggressive. He lives up to his name here. Wants to dive a bit, but not going to fully commit. Just threatening for the go. They have no Ice Blast now, so we won't see another move here probably from CDEC for at least 30 seconds. But XC does make his way into the enemy jungle with Firefly. Blinks back to the creep wave. No lasso just yet either. So it is going to cool down soon. Well, they're not getting a ton early on. They do force out a Brew Split. It's a tower going down for CDEC. It's the least important tower in the map. But it is a tower nonetheless. I don't know. I feel like CDEC has to get more accomplished. Like, this is an okay start, but they really need to keep the pressure up against the Midas Slardar, the Yule Shadow Fiend coming out. It feels like with the item pickups LGD have, that they're really well positioned to turn this into a farming war.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you actually start a fight, though, on your terms. Essentially, like, if you go for the push, you know the Brewmasters and the Slaughter are going to be right there with every cooldown they desire to kind of make your day miserable. And otherwise, you have to go for, like, a smoke play with the Bat Rider. But they're out of smokes at a seat. The Rubik used so many against the Shadow Fiend mid, and the Shadow Fiend is just a hero that is able to bounce back so easily anyways.
He's only 0-1. They only got the one kill. That's all.
So, I mean, they're just hoping that they don't have vision as the Bat Rider moves out. He's going to farm the enemy jungle since he sees them all bottom. But as far as, like, finding a pickoff, it's very unlikely they're going to be caught unawares because you just don't have that smoke. And right now they don't have that much control of the map. So they will trade a tier 1 for tier 1, it looks like. And that should be fine, except for the Roche potential of LGD. Watch how fast this Roche goes down. Amplify damage, Wave of Terror, and suddenly, with the presence of the Dark Blood, you're at -12 armor on the Roche.
Yules does come out now, maybe with a DD rune to boot. They want to bring the big boy down quickly, and Ice Blast comes in, but it's just a little bit too late. Maybe getting bashed here. He'll grab the Aegis. One or two more bashes, maybe a clap, and there's a slight chance he goes down there, but no crazy bad RNG, so he'll make it out now. Aggressive on the hunt. He's gonna go Blink Dagger. He's gonna even pop himself a Drums Charge as he's forced to ult very early in this fight. Now they'll swap out MMY. Or rather, Showy will swap himself out. Swaps in MMY, I should say. And now Aggressive on the run, trying to retreat out. They catch out Q with the Brewmaster Split in the river. Mandem going down here, stun onto maybe. The chase onto Shiki, who's out of mana, gets Laguna and brought down. Very awkward fight here for CDEC. Now forced to buy back as well on their Ancient Apparition. That's 2 heroes down, 1 buying back. And they are not going to get a whole lot out of this, it seems. No lasso, no Force Staff to get an easy pick off, and they're just going to have to back out. So in the end, LGD walk away with an Aegis. And they're also going to walk away with some kills as well.
Yeah, that Slark jump was very awkward, honestly. Like, the amount he had to commit to that to just survive the first few seconds was very awkward. The swap out was nice from the Venge. So, in the end, like, they really didn't accomplish much with their jump, despite the nice Ice Blast in the pit. Now, Garter, on the kind of flank of that fight, was able to steal Laguna Blade, so he'll have that for a little while, and that's kind of a surprising steal, considering, like, Lina had cast it minutes before, but yeah, in the end, that's the only thing they get out of the fight is a quick Laguna, which they will cast on a maybe, but the Util's the magic wand, and that's not gonna work.
Oh, that's a cute Laguna Blade Garter, but I've got my magic stick, bro. I'm fine. Maybe says he'll walk away. They do make a go on to Xiao 8 here. Dark Pack coming out, looks to die, but again, these swaps, now the Crush, they may turn on aggressive, and they will, and his aggression gets used against him. Another Laguna, this one. This time coming out from LGD, and the Lina gonna show how it's done. Gets the job done, secures a kill. LGD now ready to push in. They may have gone for the early Yules, the early Midas, but they're in full fighting form at this point. They still have their Aegis. They're going to take a tier 1 mid. They just want to close out CDEC in a clean 2-0 sweep, it looks like. Not there just yet, but it is starting to feel like this is LGD's game with the... I think one of the big things that you mentioned, and we didn't get to talk about it a ton, is the smokes. It's so important for CDEC's draft. They have heroes that are okay at setting up kills, but like really smoking the Bat Rider into a lasso is your ideal way to find a pickoff. And well, CDEC with the lost towers and the lack of wards up don't have great map control. So if they're not smoking, they're probably being scouted or just caught out by LGD, who in any case are 5-manning. So no, this is not the best 5v5 clashing lineup for CDEC. It feels like LGD have just reached, I wouldn't say critical mass to break the base, but definitely critical mass to 5-man for the mid game. Doesn't seem like there's much CDEC can do to stop it.
It feels like CDEC just kind of misjudged the tempo. I mean, you would think with 3 out of 5 members of the former LGD CDEC lineup that scrimmed against LGD so many times, they'd have a pretty good feel for when these players like to get aggressive. But in this case, it just seems like they've been caught completely off guard as far as the full timing potential of LGD. I mean, they've got 2 drums of endurance and a couple blink daggers, one on the Slark. Like, it's not fighting items, it's pick-off items. And LGD, they say, okay, as long as we don't isolate ourselves, the only thing we're afraid of is the Ice Blast.
They're going to make their go in with aggressive, but again, he can't get that clean initiation. It's up to the Bat Rider to do it. They wrangle and maybe has the Yule Scepter, has stick charges, he'll lose his Aegis. But they're not done yet. Garter now on the way out. They have a Brew Split available. If they need to deploy it, they certainly can. Nice swap again from the Director. Man, he's been on point with these. Now your Brew, blink in, no clap, just straight into the split. The chase under aggressive. Dark Pack coming out. I'll remove that Boulder Toss stun immediately, but get Cycloned. They're going to back off. They lost their Aegis. Just going to play it safe.
Yeah.
Let's see, do
and
they kill the
kind of get the
Brew?
luxury of choosing how the fight proceeds and dictating when they want to go for full retreat. It looks
Oh,
like Yao
yeah.
got hung up a little bit.
Oh no,
But-
he got a split stolen.
Ouch.
He-
And they're going to get the Searing Chains too. He's dead.
Yeah, very unfortunate for him. It looked like he might have gotten caught on the creeps or something and like pathed awkwardly at this corner.
Yeah.
Because he kind of fenced back and forth where he could have just walked around the corner and immediately clapped at the very least, but may have gone down, but at least would have avoided giving up his ultimate. I'm not sure exactly what happened around that camp, but there was some awkward back and forth shuffling. And it ends up costing them. Not just the kill, but also the Brew Split.
So yeah, I mean, I like the fact that LGD are able to choose to back off from that after everything, all is said and done. They lost the Aegis, they knew the fight wasn't going too well, so all they get is some tier 2 damage. But the bigger thing here is CDEC are not only able to get some space and time, but also Garter finishes a blink dagger that they've been investing a lot into. Like, Rubik usually doesn't get a fast blink, but he's been prioritizing his farm over the Ancient Apparition. He's been involved in the ganks. He's been trying to make the plays. Garter feels like there's a lot of potential in him to just get these spell steals off and change the flow of the game entirely. So already getting the Primal Split, being able to blink split is a huge way to start a fight. And this is where we were talking about the smokes, the vision. XZ is going to go for a very early Geometry Sight and just say, okay, well, we'll clear out all of your wards, we'll get the jump, and with it, we're going to try to just flip this game completely in our favor.
This could be the item and the fight that really turns the game. It's a good time for CDEC to try to look for something, but LGD are They're 5-manning their own Ancients. They're playing this very safe and defensive, and they are going to get scouted out here by CDEC, who initiate. Onto Silo they go, get swapped out, brought to safety. Requiem coming out hot and heavy for maybe who does have a fresh shiny. BKB, they'll bring down Aggressive before he's able to retreat himself out. Shiki chucked up in the air, will be brought down. The stolen Bruce split has been going off, but against the BKB Shadow Fiend, it's not really getting a whole lot done. The Slark will die in exchange for the Venge. It looks like that's where the fight will end, and everybody's just going to back themselves off for now.
But the Slark bought back. That's the big thing. Is
Yeah.
Slark's buyback. He needs to get something more out of it, and he certainly will not now that it's a full disengage. And I think that CDEC's movement there was perfectly fine if they don't buy back on the Slark. But since they did, he just wasted a ton. Maybe he finds Yao. No, the blink out. He doesn't even get that.
They are still chasing here, though. Rubik has his own blink. He's going to lift him, chuck him, stun him, and then they're going to bring him down. They steal the Drunken Haze. Not really ideal, but we'll take the kill. That's the big one. Still not really worth the buyback.
Rubik in.
You know,
Yeah,
I got to
that was
say,
actually
the MVP of this game for me so far for LGD is Xiao 8. The way he's been playing with every swap to me has been a life save. He swaps himself out bottom and throws MMY in. That saves the Venge. We've seen him swap Sylar out of the fights. He swapped out the Shadow Fiend in the fight up near the top lane. Every time he's used swap, it's been a fight-saving or changing swap. He hasn't just been like you swap yourself in and die. And you know the crazy thing is he's managed to live through most of these engagements. So very nice play here by Venge.
He isn't level 11, so it's level 1 swap every single time. You have to be in the perfect position to actually be able to execute on that level with that. Like even that top fight when they had the Aegis on the Shadow Fiend, the lasso came through and he was in swap range. Most Venges would be like, okay, just easy response, swap the lasso. But because they have the Aegis on the Shadow Fiend, they actually felt like they could take the fight on the rebound, and it was only after maybe he lost half of his HP on his second life that they even worried about the swap out. So I think, yeah, he's really directing these fights very nicely, and in general, they're definitely taking an advantage throughout the team fights. Roche is going to be respawning soon, scouting out the pit pretty early on, and I think CDEC definitely have something more to say about this one. Like, they've got the Batrider controlling that area with Firefly, with Force Staff and Gem of True Sight. They've got the Ice Blast a little bit more primed and ready. This is not going to go down so easy.
LGD gonna retreat back to their side of the map for now. Take it easy. They are working towards that second BKB. Sylar's well on the way. And with his BKB coming out, it's something that CDEC only have one answer for, really. That's the lasso. Outside of that, they cannot really address just the BKB Shadow Fiend, the BKB Slaughter. And we saw already the Shadow Fiend got a lot done with the BKB Requiem last fight. So I think this is going to pose a problem for CDEC if they're trying to take 5v5 clashes. Something that they're just not equipped to deal with now. They don't really have a farm Slark by any stretch. He's just got the basics here. No big damage items, no Basher, no Scotty. Not really ready to man fight yet. This will be that window where LGD feels strong in the team fights, and CDEC either have to bait out spells and BKBs like the Bruce Split and the Shadow Fiend and the Slardar before they go in, or they're going to end up paying the price. But yeah, they're ready now. Sylar's just picked his own magic community up, and they're going to start pushing this top lane, it looks like. LGD, 4 heroes, actually make it 5, all grouped up, they smoke. Alright, maybe not pushing, maybe on the gank.
Yeah, probably won't fall for the illusion as the smoke won't break, and they'll be making their way all the way around towards the Roche pit, hoping to find somebody maybe at the Ancients, which are currently completely unwarded. So they're kind of walking into no man's land as far as Radiant Vision. They're just seeing what's right in front of them, but it is going to spot the Ancient Apparition, so they are going to be able to make a jump.
They get scouted here, though. Aggressive, the man in first. He's able to reveal it. And LGD going to be forced to back themselves away. They go for the Yule's initiation on Aggressive. Clap to follow up. But BKB's already been popped by Maybe. Can he make his way out? Thunder trying to help cover the retreat. As Aggressive will successfully force out a BKB, limps away, and reveals the smoke. Very nicely played there by your Slark.
And he was just pouncing away like to farm efficiently. He was going for his Ancients or something. Suddenly 5 heroes, and it's a great reaction from him. This slippery hero can get through so many things, and the big thing is being able to purge off the Yules there. They make the jump with the Shadow Fiend. A Dark Pact takes off the Yules, and he just keeps moving. They can't close the distance with the hard disablers. So, yeah, that could have been a very dangerous situation. In the end, they don't really lose anything, and the LGD wastes a lot of time there. So, and that's something the CDEC need. They need to buy time for themselves so the Ancient Apparition can get more points in that Ice Blast, and so this Ember can really come online. Like, Slark's item progression is great, but look at this Ember Spirit. Like, he's got Yasha phase drum. He's in farm mode. It's going to be a long, long time before he's actually able to put out a really good amount of team fight damage. I mean, he's still running the level 1 Fire Remnant, which is fine because he uses it for mobility, but that means as far as his team fight damage output, it's extremely lackluster.
All right, LGD just gonna slow it down. It looks like they're not really able to make their way into the pit unseen. CDEC with the Batrider gem having excellent map control around that area. You look at the vision for LGD and it's a barren wasteland of a mini-map. They've got nothing as far as vision goes. They are just gonna change the game plan. All right, they walk into the pit. 5 heroes straight in. CDEC know this is coming. This is a ballsy move, and it's something that will be quickly addressed. They're gonna throw out the immediate Ice Blast. Now the chain's coming through. Nobody jumping in. Now XZ leaping forward, but the Age is already claimed here. They may lose their gem. XZ gonna drop.
He dropped forehand. He knew he was making a ballsy play, so he drops the gem before he enters the pit, and Aggressive picks it up, no problem at all. So it does cost them the Batrider, but I mean, the potential for the snatch there or the pullout, I actually think that was a really awesome play from CDEC.
Yeah, good thing to drop the gem, but they didn't want to commit too much. They just blink in the bat, so if he doesn't get the Aegis, then no big deal. You don't lose multiple heroes, but now LGD, they may not care that gem wasn't taken because it looks like they've got some 5-man ambitions. Shao-8, oh boy. Well, he was a little late. Tardy to get on the bus, and it's going to leave without him. They just pushed down mid without their commander-in-chief. He swaps himself to the north, and for now survives as Aggressive will pop his BKB. Has the gem. He's got to be careful about this dive here. Slaughter able to get eyes on him. Dark Pact is cooling down. They get the bash initially. Now unable to leap away. They're going to crush him as well. The Blink Dagger still cooling down. In the meanwhile, they've also found Garter on the other side of the tree line. Aggressive gonna fall, and he will end up, I think, feeding the gem. I'm not sure where it went there.
It's on the ground. It's on the ground still. They
did he
not
drop
pick it up.
Oh no, it's just under the tree.
Yeah, that's where he died.
I thought he tried to like hide it like over here or something,
got it.
in some weird location, but yeah, we'll end up giving up the gem. So, you know, they try to avoid that happening by giving it to the Slark earlier, but then he gives it up anyway.
Yeah, it was a really close call for that disengage. Blink almost went over the high ground, but they were waiting for him. Now Shiki, oh boy, that
got
combo. Yeah, perfectly. Requiem is what you call that one, because that is just a straight one-shot. He just can't farm that aggressively when he does. I mean, he thought he had vision. Dire Observer wards here are pretty awesome, but they just didn't see that coming. These Yules plays have been great. Canceling the Rubik TP when he was trying to get out. They were looking for the Slark when he jumped over the cliff, but they found both in the end, so it worked out.
Top lane, crush onto XZ. Sylar is a mean piranha. He's going to try to get this kill. The lasso comes out, and just long enough to get him back towards safety, but now there's no lasso for defense. LGD say, great, free tower for us. You ain't stopping this freight train without a lasso to pull someone out of position. They will TP their Slark in, but into certain demise perhaps. He gets off the BKB just in the nick of time. That's not an Aghanim's Lina, so it doesn't get the pure damage going through the magic community. As Q will be run down by the Bruce Split as well as the Shadow Fiend, and Aggressive able to answer back, ending a Lina killing spree, but gets stunned, crushed, and amped, and man, he drops quickly. Maybe also low, still holding Aegis. Aggressive on the leap out, Sylar hunting him as well, maybe blinking forward into this. They went for the Bruce Split steal, didn't get it though. Garter only able to grab up the clap, and he'll be chained and maybe turned on. Leaping forward is your Batrider. Yao starting to take heavy damage here, but does have the evasion to help keep him in fighting condition. Does maybe want to fight this. Raze comes out. Aggressive just wants to pop that Aegis, get out safely, but can't quite do it. As far as getting the Aegis goes, it'll take a zap. Garter able to bring it down. Now they steal the amp, and they look to turn this fight, maybe. Blinks on the retreat. Shao-8 also limping away. He's the gem carrier. And when the dust settles, ends up being looks like a 2-for-1. Slightly favoring CDEC.
Yeah, I think they can be pretty happy with that. Popping the Aegis, holding their tier 2. with that lasso down, you called it that was really the catalyst for LGD to just get a move on things, and it seemed like they were just going to take an easy tier 2 or even both of them, but no, it's them taking an awkward fight, really good movement from the Rubik, and they were able to clear it out. Will note that the Geometry site that's on the Venge was actually purchased by Xiaowei. Lena was just farming here, but she thinks this is trees. She doesn't actually see the gem. That's going to be sitting there for quite some time, I do believe.
All right.
So, I mean, they pick up one gem, they leave one on the ground, and technically the Dire Observer Ward here for CDEC actually sees that the gem is still laying there, but I doubt they notice it either. So this is just going to be, you know, blending in with the scenery for probably most of the game.
Yeah, to be honest, I just kind of assumed they'd grab the gem that was sitting on the ground, but not the case here. A bit unfortunate. LGD going to move in towards the Roche pit, but of course there's no Roche here. This is just about trying to get some wards up. MMY going to make his way in. Just drop the ward down on the high ground. As LGD, 5 heroes moving through the Radiant jungle as a squad. They've been able to successfully pull this game in their direction by a large margin. Now up 10,000 gold. 10,000 experience. And they are just going to continue grouping and moving on forward. Maybe clearing out some creeps. There is still a tier 2 in every lane for CDEC. They've got okay defenses in line, but it's more for me, the worry is just the lack of item progression here. You're running a Slark and Ember heroes that need big, beefy items to match up with the bruisers of LGD, and they're just not getting the farm. No Midas on the Slark, no Battle Fury on the Ember. They're just pure utility at this point. And LGD, they're already heading like trucks with the minus armor stacks. They move in, they're going to take the tower. They may even go high ground here. Definitely want to force a TP back.
Yeah, Ember's got the Battle Fury at the perfect time, though. He will be able to Sleight of Fist defend, but if they get caught outside the base, that's a different story.
Aggressive leaping forward. Double BKB pop here by LGD as they look to engage. Your Bruce Split comes out, focusing on Q, immolating him, bringing him low. Can they finish him? One more club from that Fire Panda. They'll get the job done. But is the rest of the team going to continue fighting? The Bruce Split still here in the front line, zoning out. They get off a Cyclone on the Rubik. They may set up around him. So they drop him. Nope. Yao just, blinks out just in the nick of time. Nicely done. Now they managed to steal the Bruce Split. Again, Yao's giving it up. He could have just backed away, but he ends up giving it up once more to Garter. Laguna Blade onto Aggressive. Can they just Requiem? No. They can't get it done. He manages to split as he drops down after the Cyclone. They swap Sylar back. LGD may be forced into a headlong retreat here. Maybe they can fight against their own stolen Bruce Split and not even care. Well, seems that's the case. Okay, too much right click. They get it. They get it done anyway. Now, stun on Dashiki, following him through the Remnant. He can't retreat. He'll fall as well. It's a 5-man takedown across 2 fights. As LGD get dangerously close to breaking the base, but they're not ready just yet here. They're going to retreat themselves out.
Yeah, too much to lose here. I mean, they just got the Bat Rider and the Ancient Apparition respawning 2 heroes that can stop the push hard. Maybe a bit of a fake back, as they still have the opening to jump in with Yules or Blink, but it is going to be just a full retreat here. I mean, the Vengeful Spirit has that gem. She doesn't want to give that back to the Bat Rider, who's been doing good work with it. So it is just going to be a full fallback from LGD, but they got a lot of good kills. Even though the Ember Spirit didn't really lose any gold just buying the Battle Fury now, it's still LGD pretty happy with how that played out. And I still got to commend Garter for doing the best he could to buy time. Like, they were distracted by him a lot in that fight. He got Cyclone by the Brewmaster, he got Yules by the Shadow Fiend, tried to Requiem, but that Brew Split, it does just force out a lot of time that could have been on the Tier 3 tower. So I actually think Rubik is why that Tier 3 is still alive today. But beyond that, let's just look at how LGD are progressing item-wise. They get so many items out of these successful teamfights. The Brewmaster can work his way towards maybe a Hex, Slardar, Sylar for the AC, and MMY is even considering a Bloodstone here after the Aghanim Scepter.
God, he is so farmed on the Lina. Now he's got that egg, so no more BKBs to save your life. Maybe gonna muscle down one. They're looking for another as Aggressive. Thrown up in the air, could be dropped down right into a crush. He BKBs in the nick of time. Laguna Blade may be enough to finish him off, though. It is with the right clicks and the follow-up. They bring him down as well. Now Xiaowei diving towards the base. He'll swap himself out. This time, though, the swap not his savior, but that's okay, because Maybe's here with a godly Requiem, and he chases on, running down XY with that Sanjin Yasha Shadow Fiend. Ends him with the raise. It's an Ultra. He wants that Rampage, but he can't quite dive the well. And GG, CDEC, they're going to the lower bracket. They were outgunned, outclassed, and severely outplayed here in both games. They just dominated Team CDEC.
Yeah, LGD just played this really smooth. Every single team fight, they seemed to be executing pretty well. Even when it was going bad for them, they still minimized their losses. They were able to fall back and really spread themselves out very nice. I mean, the one hang up on Brewmaster towards the entire jungle, that was a little awkward, but like you can attribute that to technical problems. Like overall, LGD, every single movement on their map was really smart, and the only thing that halted their offensive was the gem pickup from the Batrider. That delayed it because of lack of vision, but once they got that back under control, they were golden, and they were able to clear this one out pretty easily. 9-1 and 7 on maybe Shadow Fiend, and overall just a great draft from LGD.
All right. Well, with that said, LGD looking good here in the bracket. They are moving on in the winner's bracket, and they will face either Newbie or HGT. As for Team CDEC, they drop down. They'll face the loser of that series. Neither team eliminated yet, but obviously for LGD, this gets them a lot closer towards a potential trip to the summit. Now, over in the China region, we only have one qualifier slot, so you got to go all the way. You still have to fight your way through IG, through ehome, even some of these other teams like Newbie, who looks a little bit rattled as far as their new roster goes, not quite as dominant, HGT, vg.potential, teams that may not actually beat LGD, some of these in a best of 3, but could certainly give them a run for their money and maybe take a game off of them. So with that said, Blaze, thank you for joining me. We're going to have a bit of a break here, guys. You can follow Blaze at BlazeCasting, and myself, if you'd like, at LD Dota. Our next match is going to be in an hour and 40 minutes, so we've got some time to kill here. Go grab yourself a beverage. There may be some other... Actually, it looks like there is no other Dota going on as far as matches go, so, you know, leave your computers. Go do something else, but come back in an hour and 40 minutes. That's when ehome versus Tongfu will be happening here live on Beyond the Summit, and with that said, thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back.